Revolution inspired a number of new European nations to follow suit. In fact, in the 1780s, when Thomas Jefferson, the author of the Declaration of Independence, was serving as the United States ambassador to France, he met Adamantios Korais. Korais was a Greek scholar who was instrumental in the Greek Enlightenment and whose work paved the way for the Greek War for Independence. Jefferson and Korais, who were both born in 1748, became friends during their time in Paris and later exchanged letters during the Greek Revolution. In many of these letters, Korais sought advice and counsel on the Greek Revolution and the eventual establishment of an independent Greek state. In the letter from Jefferson to Korais, Jefferson provided his insight onto the structures and ideals of independent Greece, including freedom of religion, right to trial by jury, and freedom of the press. In his final words to Korais, after expressing hope that his ideas would be helpful to him, he stated that he hoped, should they furnish a single idea which may be useful to them, I shall fancy it a tribute rendered to the manes of your Homer, Demosthenes, and the splendid constellation of sages and heroes whose blood is still flowing in your veins, and whose merits are still resting as a heavy debt on the shoulders of the living and the future races of men. While we offer to heaven the warmest supplications for the restoration of your countrymen to the freedom and science of their ancestors, permit me to assure you of the cordialest esteem and high respect which I bear and cherish toward yourself personally. As I stated before, the Greek Revolution was inspired by the American Revolution, but the Greek Revolution was the first nationalist liberation movement in all of old Europe. Further, the Greek Revolution paved the way for revolutions and independence movements across Europe throughout the 19th and 20th centuries. Greece's independence was the first to break the mold of old Europe, meaning that up until 1821, the geopolitical map of Europe had been defined by multi-ethnic, autocratically ruled empires, like the Ottoman Empire, that oppressed Greece for centuries. Greece led the way in terms of self-determination of nation-states. The Greek Revolution was fought over 8 years, with a staggering 150,000 plus casualties. One of the defining characteristics of the Greek Revolution, and what made it truly exceptional, is that it was not just a cause for Greeks alone. In fact, in Greece's own Declaration of Independence, The Fight for Faith in the Fatherland by Alexandros Ypsilantis, on March 8, 1821, Ypsilantis stated, "Europe, its eyes fixed upon us, wonders at our inertia. So let all the mountains of Greece echo with the sounds of our battle trumpet, and the valleys with the fearful clang of our weapons. Europe will admire our valor, while our tyrants, shaking and pale, will flee before us. The enlightened peoples of Europe are occupied with enjoying their prosperity and filled with gratitude for the benefactions bestowed upon them by our forefathers. Desire the liberation of Greece." Moreover, just a few months later, Petrovi Mavromichalis, the commander-in-chief of the Spartan troops at Kalamata, stated, "We invoke, therefore, the aid of all civilized nations of Europe, that we may more promptly attain the goal of just and sacred enterprise, reconquer our rights, and regenerate our unfortunate people. Greece, our mother, was the lamp that illuminated you. On this ground she reckons on your philanthropy. Arms, money, counsel are what she expects from you. We promise you her lively gratitude, which she will prove by deeds in more prosperous times." After several more years of inspiring struggle, and through countless more international appeals and astute Greek diplomacy, the three great maritime powers of the era answered Greece's call. Great Britain, France, and Russia agreed in 1827 to send a joint naval fleet to the Aegean Sea. What came next was that known as the Battle for Navarino. There, the fleets of Greece, Great Britain, and France annihilated the Ottoman Navy. Of the 89 Egyptian-Turkish ships that took part in the battle, only 14 made it back to Alexandria with over 8,000 dead. The Allied fleet, on the other hand, did not lose a single ship and suffered only 181 deaths. The Battle for Navarino truly turned the tide of the Greek Revolution, and all but assured victory for Greece. The next decisive moment for the Greek War for Independence came on the 3rd of February, 1830, when the powers of Great Britain, France, and Russia signed what became known as the Third London Protocol. For the very first time, the great powers of Europe declared in a united voice, quote, "Greece will form an independent state and will enjoy all those rights, political, administrative, and commercial, attached to complete independence." In the years that followed, Greece, Hellas, Ellada finally formed nation restored to its rightful place from ancient times. At that time and hereafter, Greek independence would be regularly described as a revival, a regeneration, or even a resurrection of an ancient Hellenic empire. And after that, several new European states were created by the same model set forth by Greece. Belgium in 1831, Germany and Italy in 1871, Serbia, Romania, and Montenegro in 1878, Bulgaria in 1908, and Ireland in 1922. Some could argue Greece and the nations of Europe that followed her inspired a broader redrawing of the map of the entire continent in the wake of 2 world wars and the Cold War of the 20th century. Before I close, I'd be remiss not to mention to give credit to an incredible author and Greek historian, Roderick Beaton. When Anesti asked me to deliver these remarks a couple months ago, I happened to be reading an excellent book by Beaton entitled The Greeks, A Global History. Much of what I share today is courtesy of or inspired by this great author. If you're interested, I encourage you to read the book or many of his other volumes, including Greece, Biography of the Modern Nation, or The Making of Modern Greece. Beaton is a professor emeritus at King's College of London, and in 2019 he was knighted by the President of Greece as a commander of the Order of Honor of the Hellenic Republic. I'd like to leave you with the words of a poem I found while doing my research for my remarks today. It's entitled Sons of the Greeks, ironically written by an American priest, an Anglican bishop named George Washington Doane in 1860. Sons of Greeks, arise and gird your armor on. Your bleeding country's rights assert, avenge your father's wrong. Sons of the helmed brave, who've held Thermopylae, dare as they dared the turbaned slave, and Greece shall yet be set free. Yes, soon again as pure Ulysses' waves shall flow, and soon on famed Hymettus hills as fragrant flowers shall blow. For freedom's sun shall rise on Attica its moor, and wind and wave shall lash and lave the free Aegean shore. Light, the quenchless flame in every warrior's eye, rouse the glorious battle cry for Greece, for victory, nor let combat cease, while Muslims shall remain to mar to fair freedom's festal rites, her heritage to strain. Hark is the trumpet's claim, the squadron's tramp I hear, clashes the bright broadsword again, and ring the shield and spear. See 'tis the plumed helm, the banner streaming wide, the Athenian horsemen mount again, and Spartans side by side. 'Tis up the glorious strife by field and tower and town, and palace and mosque and minaret, and frowning fort are down. The Ottoman retreats, the crescent veils its ray, and holy hands in Istanbul streets, the cross of Christ display. Sons of the Greeks, arise, rise in your father's might, with sword girt on and spear in rest wage freedom's holy fight. Swear 'twas the father's oath, and well befits the son, swear free to live, firm to die, by those at Marathon. Thank you.